Hi, this is Mark Power again, your stuttering specialist. And today I'm going to answer the question, why do I stutter when I read? In my experience, some of the hardest speaking situations I ever had were reading out loud. And I remember specifically the reading out loud that happened in my classroom when I was in elementary school and learning how to read. So, the typical situation is the teacher has a class of maybe 30 students, and they're sitting in rows, and they're going to be reading either from a history book or from a reading book, and everybody gets a chance to read a paragraph. Sound familiar? The kids look forward to this. This is a lot of fun for them because they get the attention of other people and they can demonstrate their reading skills. But for a person who stutters, it's dramatically terrible because you know that you're not going to be able to get the sound out when it's your turn to read. And what makes it a lot worse is this. Usually the teacher starts at one desk, probably in the front, and goes in order right down the row so everybody gets a chance. And we don't skip anybody and follow through with that procedure until you get to the end of the class, row by row. Well, I would be sitting probably near the back of the class, and when the reading started, I had the fear of stuttering inside me, like usual. But then, as each person read and moved to the next person, my time to read came closer and closer and closer. And you can imagine when it got to be my row and counted down to 4 people before me, 3 people before me, 2 people before me, I'm going to be the next one. I was terrified. What I tried to do a lot of times was pre-read the paragraph that I would end up reading. And that was so I would be prepared. While I was waiting for other people to read their portions, I would try to count down and figure out what my paragraph would be, and I'd reread it many times to rehearse it. Many times also the problem was that one of the kids would skip a paragraph, or the teacher would skip a child, or the order got all messed up. So I didn't have that paragraph that I'd rehearsed, and I was stuck. And when I started reading, it's hard to remember exactly what happened, but I think in the beginning several times when I had these blocks and people were laughing, the teacher just said, "Let's go on to the next person." And that made it even worse because it was like I couldn't even read a simple paragraph like all the other kids did. And this is why I remember during elementary school and even middle school, I didn't have a whole lot of friends. In order to make friends, you probably know that you usually have to reach out to them, and you need to do it verbally. And just need to say, "Hi, how are you doing today?" Something like that. Have a little conversation. Well, I was so afraid of stuttering because if I was trying to make a friend with somebody, I wanted to come across as somebody likable, somebody they could relax with and get along with. But if I started, "Hi," they would see something very abnormal, and the chances of me making their friendship, I thought, wasn't very great. So I chose not to do that. The one thing that you can do to stop stuttering immediately is to keep your mouth shut. So if you avoid these speaking situations, you may even hide your stuttering from a particular person. But then again, you don't make many friends that way. I spent a lot of time in elementary school and middle school watching television. Saturdays and Sundays, I remember my mother used to say, "Mark, why don't you go outside and play, make some friends?" And I just couldn't do it. So that was my story. There are some tips I can give you if you're stuttering and have a situation where you have to do some oral reading. These are possible things that might make it a little easier, but there's no magic way to get rid of the stuttering while you're reading. In order to get rid of the stuttering, you need to change the way you talk completely and learn that, and I'll talk about that a little later. So, here are some tips. Rather than try to read the whole paragraph again and again, just break down what you're going to say into short phrases of about 3 or 4 words, rather than talking along like this and keeping going and go on until you have a block. Plan a short phrase, even though you can see the words. Divide it up so you can have a shorter period, a short phrase, where you know what you're talking about. This is a technique that King George VI used in his speaking. The King's Speech shows that at the end, where he actually put slash marks in the middle of his speeches every 3 or 4 words. His speech therapist from Australia was the one that advised him to do that, and it helped him a lot. So if you plan short phrases, since you know better what the words are going to be, you can also plan to keep your voice on all through the short phrase. If you have a longer phrase or a longer sentence like this, you're probably going to get mixed up or not know what the next words are, and it's harder to keep your voice on. The key to talking without stuttering is what we call continuous voicing or continuous phonation. That's why when you sing, you don't stutter. So if you plan a short phrase, you really know what the words are, and you can keep your voice on. I hope this helps. And also, pause as long as you need to, even if you can see the words in reading, to plan the next phrase. And you might want to go a little slower. Actually, any way of changing the way you talk is probably going to help you. But, as I said, that may help you a little bit temporarily, but the real solution is to learn a different way of speaking and replace your stuttering with that all day long. In order to learn that, it's like learning any skill, any motor skill. You need to have a lot of daily practice and a lot of instruction and a lot of feedback on how you're doing. And then you can establish this new way of speaking. That's what the program I have to offer actually does. You get feedback from a throat microphone that you wear around your neck, and that's hooked up to a cell phone where you can actually see how your voice is working. So you can see whether your voice is steadily going on and continuously voicing, or whether you're chopping it up, and you can make adjustments along the way. This takes 2 weeks every day, about an hour a day, to learn this skill. And you can do it if you stick with it. And once you learn this new technique with the throat microphone and the app, then you start using it in your real life speaking situations, but without the app. So that takes several months to transfer it so you can talk in this new way all day long. Anyway, if you want to have more information about this or know what the next steps are, contact me. I'm enrolling new patients now, and I enroll a new patient every 2 weeks so I can spend as much time as they need. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye. Mark Power here, and if you like this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful videos like this one. Also, be sure to hit the share button and leave us a comment below so that others can benefit from it as well. I'll be recording a lot more helpful videos like this one to help you overcome your stuttering. And if you'd like to be notified, then click on the bell icon below.